I married a kind man, but I did not love him. This is not easy for me to say, but it is the truth. He gave me peace. He gave me patience. He gave me care. He never hurt me. He never made me cry. But even with all of this, my heart was somewhere far away. Sometimes, I would sit in silence and ask myself, why do I feel empty? This is my story. Please listen carefully. Read slowly. Learn the words. Feel the emotions. My name is Emma. I am 28 years old. And this is the story of my quiet, hidden truth. Live in a small, simple apartment with my husband, Daniel. Our home is quiet, clean, and peaceful. Daniel is a kind man. He speaks gently, never loudly. His voice is calm, and it makes people feel safe. He remembers small things about me. My favorite tea. My favorite color. Even the little things I say only once, he never forgets. Every day, he asks me, "Are you tired? Did you have a long day?" He waits for me at dinner. He does not eat alone. He sits at the table and waits patiently until I come home. Sometimes, I see him looking at me with soft, warm eyes. Eyes full of care, full of love. Many people think I am lucky. They say, "Emma, you have a perfect husband." And sometimes, I think so too. Sometimes, I try to believe it. But deep inside, there is a feeling I cannot ignore. A quiet feeling that something is missing. Here is your part 3 expanded in slow, emotional, learner-friendly English. Daniel is not cold. He is not distant. He is not the kind of man who ignores you or makes you feel small. He is not cruel. He does not say hurtful words. He does not shout when he is angry. In fact, he is rarely angry at all. He does not hurt me. Not with his hands. Not with his words. Not even with silence. He is gentle. Careful. Kind in ways that are quiet but real. If I am tired, he notices. If I am quiet, he asks softly, "Are you okay?" If I forget something, he smiles and says, "It's all right." He is a good man. A truly good man. And maybe, that is what makes everything harder. Because there is one truth. A truth I tried to hide for a long time. A truth I did not want to see. A truth I did not want to say out loud. I told myself it did not matter. I told myself it would change with time. I told myself kindness would become love. But it did not. The truth is simple and painful. I married him. Without love. Before Daniel came into my life. There was someone else. Someone I loved deeply. Someone I trusted completely. Someone I thought would stay forever. But one day, he was gone. He did not explain anything. He did not say goodbye. There was no long message, no final call, no last look. Just silence. A cold, heavy silence that stayed with me for days. Then weeks, then months. At first, I did not understand. I kept asking myself, what did I do wrong? Why did he leave? But there were no answers. Only memories. And a heart that felt slowly breaking inside me. After that, something changed in me. I was not the same person anymore. I stopped expecting too much. I stopped dreaming about love. I became quiet, careful, afraid. Afraid of feeling too much. Afraid of losing again. Afraid of being left behind, without a reason, without a goodbye. I did not want pain again. I did not want strong emotions. I did not want love that could disappear overnight. I only wanted one thing. Peace. A calm life. A safe place where nothing would suddenly break. And then, Daniel came into my life. He was different. He did not rush. He did not confuse me. He did not make promises he could not keep. He was steady, gentle, calm. And slowly, I realized something. With him, I felt safe. Not excited. Not overwhelmed. Just peaceful. And at that time, peace felt like the most important thing in the world. Daniel was calm. Not just on the outside, but deep inside. He spoke slowly, as if every word mattered. He listened carefully, as if every silence mattered too. He was patient with me. He never asked too many questions. He never pushed me to feel something I was not ready to feel. When he smiled at me, I did not feel excitement. I did not feel my heart race. But I felt something quiet, something gentle. I felt safe. Safe like nothing would suddenly disappear. Safe like no one would leave without a reason. Safe like my heart could finally rest. It was not love. Not the kind I once believed in. But after everything I had lost, it felt enough. Or at least, I wanted it to be enough. So when Daniel looked at me one day and asked, "Will you marry me?" His voice was soft. His eyes were honest. There was no pressure. No fear. Only calm hope. And in that quiet moment, I made a quiet decision. I said yes. Not because I was deeply in love, but because I was tired of pain. I wanted a simple life. A peaceful life. A life without sudden heartbreak. I told myself again and again. Peace is enough. Kindness is enough. And slowly, I started to believe those words. After we got married, we began to build a quiet life together. There were no big changes. No dramatic moments. Everything was calm, slow, and simple. In the mornings, we drank coffee together. The kitchen was small, but warm. Sunlight came through the window. Sometimes we spoke, sometimes we just sat in silence. Daniel liked those quiet moments. He would smile and say, "This is nice." At night, we watched movies on the sofa. Soft, slow movies. Nothing loud. Nothing emotional. Sometimes, he would sit close to me. Sometimes, he would gently hold my hand. And I would let him. We lived like this every day. Simple routines. Simple conversations. A peaceful, predictable life. Daniel looked happy. I could see it in his eyes. In the way he laughed softly. In the way he looked at me, like I was enough. And I tried to look happy too. I smiled when he smiled. I nodded when he spoke. I said, "Yes, I'm fine," even when I wasn't sure. From the outside, everything looked perfect. But inside, there was a quiet space in my heart. A space that stayed empty. Something was missing. I did not know how to explain it. I did not even want to admit it to myself. But the feeling was always there. Soft, silent. As the days passed, our life continued in the same quiet way. Nothing was wrong. But something was not right either. Sometimes, Daniel would hold my hand. His touch was warm, gentle, full of care. But inside me, there was no feeling. No warmth. No spark. Only silence. Sometimes, he would look at me and say, "I'm so happy you are here." And every time he said that, my heart felt heavy. Not because I was unhappy, but because I knew something he did not. He was giving me real love. Honest love. Deep, patient, and kind love. And I was giving him something else. A quiet lie. Not a loud lie. Not something I said with words. But something I lived every day. It was in the way I smiled. Even when I did not feel it. In the way I looked at him. Then looked away too quickly. In the way I stayed silent. When I should have spoken the truth. In the way I kissed him. Without feeling anything inside. These were small moments. Easy to hide. Easy to ignore. But together. They became something bigger. A life that looked real on the outside. But felt empty on the inside. And the longer I stayed silent, the heavier that quiet lie became. One evening, Daniel came home a little later than usual. I was sitting on the sofa. The room quiet, the lights soft. When he opened the door, I looked up and saw something in his hands. Flowers. Small, delicate white flowers. My favorite kind. For a moment, I was surprised. I had told him once, just once, that I liked these flowers. And he remembered. He always remembered. He walked toward me with a gentle smile. And said softly, "I know you had a hard week. I wanted to make you smile." His voice was warm. His eyes were kind. He was trying. In the simplest, most sincere way. I looked at the flowers in his hand. They were beautiful. Fresh. Careful. Thoughtful. And suddenly, something inside me broke. Not loudly. Not suddenly. But quietly, deeply. I felt tears in my eyes. Not because I was touched. But because I understood something painful. He knew me. He cared for me. He loved me in a real, honest way. And I could not give him the same love back. That truth felt heavier than ever. I forced a small smile and said, "Thank you, they're beautiful." He looked happy. That was enough for him. But that night, when the lights were off, and the room was silent, I could not sleep. Daniel was beside me, breathing softly. And I lay there, staring into the dark. Holding a truth I could no longer ignore. That night, I could not sleep. The room was dark and quiet. Daniel was lying beside me, breathing softly, peacefully. But my mind was not at peace. I stared at the ceiling for a long time. My thoughts moved slowly, but heavily. One question stayed in my mind again and again. How long can I live like this? I already knew the answer. Not much longer. 4 days, then weeks. I tried to change. I tried to feel something more. I smiled more often. I spoke more gently. I held his hand longer. I told myself, maybe love will come. But it did not. Instead, something else grew. Guilt. A quiet, painful guilt that stayed with me every day. Then one evening, it began to rain. Soft at first, then heavier. The sound of rain filled the room. Daniel was in the kitchen, making tea. I stood near the window, watching the drops of water slide down the glass. Everything looked blurred, unclear, just like my heart. He came back with 2 cups of tea. He handed one to me and said gently, "You seem far away these days. Is something wrong?" His voice was calm, but I could hear the concern. I held the cup with both hands. It was warm, but my fingers felt cold. This was the moment. I looked at him. Really looked at him. At his kind eyes. His patient face. The man who had only ever treated me with care. My heart felt heavy, but clear. "Daniel," I said softly. "I need to tell you something." He sat down across from me. He did not interrupt. He did not rush me. He just waited. I took a deep breath. Then another. "You are a good man," I said. "You have always been kind to me." My voice felt weak, but I continued. But I cannot lie anymore. His face changed slowly. Not with anger, but with quiet pain. I looked down and said the words I had been hiding for so long. I care about you. But I do not love you. The room became very still. Only the sound of rain remained. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, very quietly, he asked, "Did you ever love me?" I closed my eyes. That question hurt more than anything else. "No," I whispered. "Not the way you deserved." I waited for him to react. I thought he would be angry. I thought he would shout or walk away. But he did not. He only looked tired. Tired in a deep, silent way. After a moment, he nodded once. And said softly, "Thank you for telling me the truth." Those words broke something inside me. And for the first time. The next morning, everything felt different. The house was the same. The walls, the furniture, the quiet air. Nothing had changed, but inside, everything had changed. There was no more pretending. No more hiding. I woke up early. The light outside was soft and cold. Daniel was already awake. We did not say good morning. We did not smile. There were no small words. Only silence. A calm, heavy silence. I took a small bag and began to pack my things. Not everything. Just what I needed. Each movement felt slow, careful, final. Daniel did not stop me. He did not ask me to stay. He simply helped me place the bag near the door. That was his kindness, even in pain. We stood there for a moment. Two people. In the same room. But no longer in the same life. There was nothing left to hide. And nothing left to say. Still. I looked at him and whispered, "I'm sorry." Those words felt small. Too small for everything I had done. He looked at me with gentle, tired eyes. And said softly, "I know." No anger. No blame. Just quiet understanding. I opened the door. The morning air was cold against my face. I stepped outside. And closed the door behind me. For a moment, I stood still. I felt sadness. I felt shame. I felt regret. But I also felt something I had not felt in a long time. Honesty. For the first time, I was no longer hiding. Sometimes, the truth hurts. Sometimes, it comes too late. But silence can hurt even more. I still remember Daniel with kindness. A good man, who deserved real love. And I still carry regret in my heart. But I also carry a lesson. A quiet, important truth. Never build a life on a feeling that is not real. Kindness matters. Peace matters. But love must be true. If your heart is silent, listen to it. Before it is too late, here is a perfect YouTube channel ending, outro, for your story video clapperboard. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this slow and emotional English story, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a new story. Now tell me in the comments. Was Emma right to tell the truth? Or should she have stayed? I would love to hear your thoughts. Keep learning, keep listening.